Hello everybody and welcome to my YouTube channel. In today's video I will show you how to install VMware Player and VMware Workstation. As you can see, I'm using Windows 7 in the video, and it's also a virtual machine. The reason being is because I currently have Workstation already installed on my host machine, and I do not want to have to uninstall it and then reinstall it later and then reconfigure all my settings. So I decided to just use a VM, and I have a fully blank Windows 7 VM I've been working on for this video. The installation process is exactly the same for Windows 7, Windows 8, and Windows 10, so don't be discouraged if it looks a little different or if you don't have Windows 7, you can do it on any version of Windows. I have provided links below in my cloud storage for both VMware Player and Workstation for your convenience. Now, VMware Player is 100% free, but if you want to use VMware Workstation, you will have to pay them around $255 for Workstation. The main thing with Workstation is it gives you networking and a few other features that Player doesn't give you. But if you're just trying to learn virtual machines or just kind of messing around or even nostalgic purposes like installing Windows 95 again just because you used it as a kid, it's also good to install if you want to try out like Linux or even Mac to see if those are something that you want to use at a later date. But for this video here, I will show you how to install both products. As you can see here, I have Workstation over here, and I also have Player right here. So with all that out of the way, we'll go ahead and begin the installation process. Now, as I said before, you can go ahead and download it from my cloud software, but for this video, I'm going to show you how to actually get VMware Player from VMware. This video might be a little outdated depending on when you kind of see it, so I might as well just show you the other way as well in case you don't want to use VMware Player 15 and they're at VMware Player 17 or so on. So first we're going to go ahead and click on Google Chrome or the browser of your choice. Now once it's loaded, you're going to go to Google as this, and then from here you're going to type in VMware Workstation Player. Alright, now as you can see here, the first link says download VMware Workstation Player, so we're going to go ahead and click on that. Alright, once it's all loaded, we're going to go ahead and click Try Workstation 15.5 Player, so hit download now, and it's going to start downloading. Usually takes about a minute. In my case, you're looking at 22 seconds for it to finish. So we're going to go ahead and wait for that to be done, and then we're going to start the installation process. Alright, it's all done, so we can go ahead and close out of our browser. Now the installation process for VMware Player is pretty straightforward. It's mainly just clicking next until you're done. So we're going to go ahead and go through that real quickly. So you're going to double click VMware Player installer. You will be prompted with a UAC on Windows 7, Windows 8, Windows 10. So just hit yes, or I believe in the newer ones it says allow. All right, now it's unpackaging. Also, to let everybody know, I'm going to do this all in real time. So you may find videos online that are like 2 minutes, 3 minutes to install. This one might be closer to 7, 8 minutes to do the installation, maybe a little bit longer. And that's just to show you everybody how it is in real time. So if it takes a little bit longer on your system or shorter, don't get discouraged. Again, this is all done in real time. Alright, so as you can see here, this is just basically explaining to you the setup wizards we have to begin. So we're going to click next. Then you gotta accept the license agreement. Then you have the advanced keyboard section. This is mainly for anybody who wants to use special keystrokes or special drivers, like for keyboards to do illuminating and everything. If you have no interest in that, I usually leave it blank, so we're going to click next. Okay. And then you have the product update. So I usually check that off too because Player is free. So every time they get a new update, they'll go ahead and let you know. And then the customer experience improvement. I usually leave this on only because, again, if you have bugs or any kind of issues, it automatically sends it to VMware. So they can go ahead and fix it in future updates. So this is a preference for you, but I usually leave it on. And then we hit next. And then the basic desktop start menu, hit next. And now we're ready to install. So as you can see here, it's pretty straightforward, just like any installation. It usually takes about 5 to 10 minutes to do the full install of Player. Same thing with Workstation. So when it gets to this point here, you can get up, go have a cup of coffee, come back, and by then it should be all ready to go. As like I said before, this is in real time, so with no pausing involved, we're going to watch it install from start to finish. Okay, and that's everything. Now, the license here below is only for your corporation. VMware Player you can use in a corporate environment, but you're required to purchase a license through them. But if you're using it for personal or home use, they don't have an issue with you just downloading it, installing it, and using it as you see fit. So for this purpose, we're just going to hit finish. Now it's always recommended to reboot the system, so we're going to go ahead and restart. As you can see there, it did pop up saying it is a virtual machine. I also don't recommend using VMware Player or Workstation inside a virtual machine. Kind of doesn't make any sense. So again, for this purpose of the video is the only reason why I would do this. All future videos, I'm going to be doing it on my host PC using VMware Workstation 14. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and take a look. Right? And as I said before, we're going to use it for free for non-commercial use, but if you are using it for commercial use, I do recommend getting a license key from them. So we're going to continue and hit finish. And there you go. So we now have everything we need for VMware Player. As you can see there, we have an update for this. So I'm just going to remind me later, but for you, I would recommend hitting get more information or actually installing the update. Again, it's free because for what you're using it for, it's non-commercial use. So that's how you install VMware Player. And what I'm going to go ahead and do now is I'm going to install Workstation. Again, the people that's going to use Workstation are more or less people who are going for their virtualization degree or want to have more functionality in networking. Player doesn't allow you to create virtualized networks. It allows you to connect to certain ones, but not actually create them. In VMware Workstation, you're actually allowed to go in, create an entire NAT network, host network, and do a lot more networking in behind the scenes. Also, a few other things as well that Player doesn't do, but that's the main difference between the two of them. So I'm going to go ahead and close out of this, and I'm going to go ahead and start VMware Workstation. Also, if you do purchase VMware Workstation, you also get VMware Workstation Player bundled together. Um, so I don't recommend having to go and buy Workstation and then having Player on your system as well. I do recommend you removing Player if you're going to actually install Workstation. But for this tutorial alone, we're not going to bother doing that. All right, and the setup like this is exactly the same way as Player. It's going to go ahead and start preparing for installation. It's going to unpackage it, and then it'll go ahead and start the installation process as it did before. Okay, so now we're back to the welcome page. So we're going to hit next. Again, accept the license agreement and click next. Same thing as before, you have the enhanced keyboard driver. Again, this thing is pretty much for special features, special functions, macros. If you have a very special keyboard that you need to use macros and so on and so forth, or lighting and so on, this will go ahead and enable it. I usually leave it off. But again, for this sake, we can go ahead and turn it on. A reboot is required. Hit next. Again, check for product updates and startup, which is good. And again, if you have the customer experience improvement program turned on, any problems with your system, or technically any problems with VMware Workstation, will go ahead and be sent to them for improvements either on further patches and fixes. So we're going to hit next. Again, we would like them to create the desktop and start menu program folders. So next. And then we're going to be in the installation. And then as like before, this should take a few minutes depending on your computer, anywhere between 5 to 10 minutes on slower PCs. I just saw before it only took about a minute and a half during my installation on the virtual. And again, just to let everybody else know, this is in real time. So nothing's sped up in here at all. Nothing is, fixed or edited later on. This is all exactly as it is in one take. So as you can see here, it's uninstalling the virtual network drivers and removing, I believe, the old player program or the components for it so it can install the newer version of this. So again, this is the reason why you do not want to install both of them. But as you can see here, we no longer have VMware Player installed as it just took it off due to, again, you're already getting Player with it. So it configures it all together under VMware Workstation Pro. Okay, and now it's all done doing the installation. Now for Workstation Pro, you have to install a license serial. There's no way around it. Even if you click finish right now, once you reboot and start the program, it's going to require you to hit a license. If you don't type in a license, it's not going to let you open and use the program. All right, so I actually do have a license, so I'm going to click license. And then I'm going to go ahead and copy my license, install it, and hit enter. And that's it. So I'm going to click finish. Now, because we asked to install the keyboard drivers, it prompts us for a system restart. So we can go ahead and click yes. Okay, everything's all booted up. So let's go ahead and open up Workstation Pro. And there you go. Well, I hope this video was helpful, and subscribe and follow for future videos on how to install all versions of Windows from Microsoft DOS to Windows 10, as well as Windows Server editions like 2008, 2003 if you want to go back that far, 2019. I'll also be doing videos on how to create Linux OSs and Mac OSs on virtual machines, which is not allowed on VMware. They never created any Mac support for it, but we do have patches and workarounds to allow you to have, say, Mac OS X Catalina on your Intel-based computers. AMD-based computers are a little more finicky when it comes to this because AMD is not really used until recently with Mac. So a lot of the older OSs all are Intel-based. But I will make a video as well on how to do it on AMD-based computers in the future. And then I'll also be making videos on, as I showed you, network editing errors, as well as sharing files and a few other errors you may possibly get with VMware. I'll also show you how to share between host files and network files. So if you have two virtual machines, I'll be able to show you how to share files between one virtual machine to another, as well as from your virtual machine to your host machine. So I just want to say thank you for watching, and hopefully I'll catch you guys later on. See ya.